does make sense.
Yeah, UConn, Tennessee, and then South Carolina recently came.
South Carolina.
Yeah. So is it me, or was this like one of the most exciting and best March Madness like years ever?
For me, it was different. And part of it is because, you're so used to seeing the jam-packed field houses and stadiums and arenas, and it was, I guess it was, with the limited fan, it just kind of reminded us that, we're still in this pandemic a little bit. And I'll take it a step further, even for you guys, because I'm not sure whether you got a chance to watch. One of my favorite things, especially when my team wins, is the one shining moment. It seemed like even that was just lacking a little bit because we didn't get the fan experience. Because normally you see the little kids out there doing stuff and they got a lot of fan interaction and people with all the cheerleaders and crazy people in the stands with the faces painted. Yeah. And it seemed, but on the court, it was great basketball. And I think the thing that I hate to see in the late round, because I like to see the big, huge matchups. I like Oral Roberts winning a first round game. I don't necessarily need them going to my Sweet 16 and destroying my bracket the way they did. But, all in all, it was a great tournament, and I'm just glad and surprised we made it through it with everything going on, no big hiccups, and we got all the way through the entire college basketball season, minus some pit stops here and there. But it really delivered for me and kind of brought us back to a little bit of normalcy. So I was glad to see they got that in.
I was impressed too for the only issue to really be VCU, and they had to forfeit their game. Their first round game. That was the only really big issue as far as COVID is concerned for the entire tournament and the national championship. For them to house for the state of Indiana to house everything. Every single game was played in different field houses and different stadiums in the state of Indiana, and for it to culminate at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, the building that Peyton built, was great. One game was bad. One game was bad on Saturday. One game was outstanding on Saturday. And for Joanna, one game on Monday was really bad. But for the people down in Waco, Texas, it was great for them that they got a championship. Sorry, Joanna. Oh. Ooh. Ooh.
Thanks for the reminder, by the way. All right, can we move on?
Yes.
Not only did Gonzaga lose, but also one of our home teams here lost. So it was a little bit of a double dagger there. But
yes, what'd you think of the tournament, Joe?
I had a blast. I think for me it was one of the best and most exciting. Downfall just the fan experience. I wonder what more that could have brought to it. But for me it was one of the most exciting and most fun that I've had in my, just as Ed Smith, my bracket was busted as soon as the tournament started. For the most part, I did get Baylor and Gonzaga right, though, at least in one of my brackets. So, because I always do too. But no, I thought it was amazing.
Didn't get the winner right though, did you? Did I say that?
That's your outside voice talking. I don't know if you knew that.
Mute my mic. I'm sorry.
Ouch! Goodness. Feeling the heat here for sure. Keeping it in basketball, let's talk a little bit NBA because we have some exciting news over the weekend. Grant Hill, congratulations to him as he succeeds Jerry Colangelo as managing director of the USA men's basketball national team. How exciting is that, guys? He will begin his new role after the Tokyo Olympics. He has, amazing, background. 96, gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, 19 seasons in the NBA, 7-time All-Star, Duke national champion in 91 and 92, talking March Madness here. Was inducted into the Hall of Fame 2018. And he's an analyst as well. He will continue to be an analyst for college and NBA. Guys, I'm excited for Grant. I'm excited to see what he's going to be, once he takes on this role, what he can do. Ed Smith, I'll go ahead and lead it off with you.
My Tar Heelness won't allow me to acknowledge that man from Duke. So, now seriously, he's one of the really, really good dudes. And regardless of the school he went to, I think he's going to do an amazing job in that position. And I think, it's nice to see some youngness and some youth. And he's about my age probably, but just to see him in that position and some of the things he's going to do, I'm excited for it. And I think he's going to bring, some real, great changes and lead that organization. So I'm very happy. And, it's nice to see them go out and find a man of color for that position too, to be quite honest. I mean, all the things we're dealing with in our society now, it's nice to see an African-American man get a position like that. And I wish him nothing but the best, regardless of what school he went to.
How many times did you say that? About 4 or 5 times, regardless of the school he went to?
You know what color blue I bleed? We don't.
I agree with you, Joe and Ed. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for Grant Hill. They couldn't have gotten a better man to take over that post. And yes, Ed, it is great to see an African-American man take over that position, a man of color. That will show all the young people, all the young kids that aspire to be a Grant Hill or be a managing director of the USA men's basketball national team or something to that equivalent, that yes, they can do it. If Grant Hill can do it, you can do it too. So he is a perfect example. He is a great role model for the young black men and young black women, and just any minority. It doesn't have to be black. It could be any young man or young woman that wants to be successful, to be at that level of success. If he can do it, you can do it too. And Joe, you laid out his resume so well. I mean, there's pretty much almost what else did Grant Hill have to do in his career other than what he did over his 19 seasons? Yeah, it sucked that his career got kind of derailed toward the end with injuries. But you and I talked about it the other night, Joe. We didn't know he played for the Suns for 5 years. We thought
5 years.
5 years he was here with Phoenix.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, he had some good seasons here, but yeah, just congratulations to Grant. He's going to take over and do some incredible things for the USA men's basketball national team, and I'm excited to see him jump in. And he was great last night on the broadcast. I'm glad he's going to continue to do commentating, because he is excellent. He is outstanding as a broadcaster, as a color analyst. I enjoyed listening to him and Bill Raftery last night, and Jim Nance and everybody else. He is great at that, and he'll be great at this.
I agree. Definitely agree. But I don't know how easy it's going to be, because his first order of business is going to replace Greg Popovich. I don't know. Who do you guys see taking over, that over Greg?
That's a good
I don't
question.
know.
Yeah.
Good question.
I've been thinking about it, and I just can't land a name out there that just comes to mind just, so quickly. It's not going to be easy for Grant. I know that.
I'm sure he'll put some thought into it, though, and I'm sure he's got some feelers out there already. But yeah, Pop's going to be a difficult person to replace, though.
You don't just replace Greg Popovich with just anybody. You've got to take your time, and as Ed said, do your research, do your studying, and just get your feelers out there and figure out who he wants to put in there. And I'm sure he'll put in the right person to lead the organization and into greater things, into a whole different era of USA men's basketball. It should be awesome. I'm excited.
Yes, I am. So, speaking of Tar Heels, we've been kind of mentioning them, or Ed Smith has mentioned them here a few times. So I want to go ahead and I'll get your take, because we have Hubert Davis is going to take over Roy Williams as head coach. So Davis has been with the Tar Heels for, 9 seasons now, and it was assistant coach, and now is being promoted. Williams was 18 seasons with North Carolina. And so I don't know, I just want to get that from you. Did I get that right? 18 seasons? Or was it more?
I think it's around it, yeah.
Yeah. He had 15 in Kansas, so he had 33 total.
Yeah. Okay.
Coach, obviously this one hits home for me. Coach Roy, I had the pleasure of meeting him a few years ago, and, really just, that's an amazing man. Amazing what he's done for so many young men in terms of helping them grow into grown men, not just coaching them basketball, but helping them into their futures. And, more than a basketball coach to me, it was so sad. I thought it was an April Fool's joke when the news hit, because it was April 1st. And I was like, I'm waiting all day for somebody to say, hey, April Fools. And when it came down to it and it turned into reality, sadness first. But for me, it was short-lived sadness because, like I said, I had an opportunity to meet Roy, and there's got to be a reason he's leaving. He probably just wants to spend more time with his family, maybe a little tired of these one-and-dones and, just not really getting a chance to get the young men and take them into their future over the course of years. Now it's here and they're gone before you know it. The game has changed a little bit. So Roy probably thought, it's time for me to leave out. As far as successor, man, we couldn't have not have nailed that one any better. Been watching Hubert for the last few years on the bench, and always in my back of my mind, because every time I see him, I'm like, man, he could be coaching somewhere else. I'm glad he's sitting on our bench as a number 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And obviously, when the time came, the family, and I was driving with my son the other day, and we were talking about, what does this mean for our North Carolina family, And I said, you know what? They're going to do the right thing. They're going to find, and I didn't know whether it was going to be Hubert. I said they should, but whatever we do within. We're going to make whoever is going to take over the helm of this. Not going to be somebody that just went out and interviewed, and there's going to be somebody within the family. And that's exactly what they did. And I guarantee you, Roy is not going far. He's going to be there as an ear for Hubert.
Maybe an advisor.
Yeah, everything he's done over the last 18 years, the 3 national championships, everything he's done, he's not walking away. He'll be there in the background just enough to help Hubert figure this out. And I think we're in great hands. And once again, great to see a man of color get in this position. And this is one of those ones, hopefully in 25 years, we're celebrating Hubert and his 5 or 6 national championships as he retires and turns it over to the next person. So we're in good hands. Tar Heel family, nothing, it's sad, but at the same time, we have a reason to be excited and happy as well. And just one last thing. Thank you, Roy, for everything you've done. And, like I said, that's from me to him. I know he's not listening, but Roy, if you're out there, somebody tell him, hey, Big Ed is thinking about you, and thank you for all you did, Roy.
Yeah, he did a lot in his 18 years, those 3 national championships. And Hubert Davis, the first African-American head coach at the University of North Carolina. So he makes history just like Grant Hill will when he takes over in his position. But it is great. I thought he was great on ESPN. All those years he was an analyst on ESPN for college basketball. He was outstanding. Even then, Ed and Joanna, I was like, Hubert's got to get a head coach. He's got to get a coaching gig somewhere, whether it's assistant coach like he got at North Carolina and he paid his dues. He worked his 9 years until his opportunity came up with Coach Williams retiring, but he was great then. And I was like, Hubert is bound to become a great head coach one day because he knows the game. He knows his X's and O's almost better than anybody. So if it was not Hubert Davis, I had heard that Kenny Smith could have been in the running for the head coach job. And that would have been another Tar Heel that would have just slid right on in there. I think Kenny Smith would have been great, even if it was Kenny, but it turned out to be Hubert. And I agree with you, Ed. Hubert's going to do a fantastic job there. And because who knows that organization better than him? A Tar Heel, a guy that's been there for 9 years. He's been in the muck and mire of being a Tar Heel coach. There's been some ups and downs. Yes, 3 national championships is great, but it hasn't always been rosy. It hasn't been always rosy at any organization, at any team. But North Carolina is one of the cream of the crops, one of the blue blood organizations in college basketball. And I would expect him to rise them back to prominence and bring them back to where they should be, up in the national rankings, and hopefully contending for a national title.
Well spoken, Ed. Welcome. You're part of the family, man. You're welcome anytime.
But, my family's from North Carolina, so I got roots down there in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Winston-Salem, Winston-Salem, High Point, all down there. Chapel Hill, Raleigh.
Oh yeah,
Carolina's in my blood, brother.
That's why we right here, man. We've always been right
there
here.
You go.
Yeah, buddy. That Carolina connection.
Yes, but no.
Yeah.
No, well, David, I couldn't agree more with you guys. You guys said it all, and there's pretty much not much for me to add, other than, Davis was mentioned. He was also a Tar Heel. He played for the team before being drafted into the NBA, being a coach there, knowing the ins and outs, how the organization works, and even more working alongside Roy for all those seasons. So I don't think that they could have picked anyone better other than Kenny, which we all love and adore as well. But But yeah, I wish him the best. It's not going to be